So this is going to be a brief tutorial on how to assemble the dice tower. I have already gone ahead and glued the stairs in. You'll want to run a bead of glue right along the edge and across the bottom connector stair, and then put this in place. I recommend doing that the night before full assembly so that it can dry completely. Glue vapors will cause the plastic to fog up and ruin it. So I do not recommend using any kind of super glue or anything that's going to burn your eyes if you were to try and put it on your face. I also went ahead and glued the statue figurine in. Just a couple drops of glue on her back, stick her right in, let her dry. Now what you're going to see, I like to use E6000. It's kind of a rubbery compound, doesn't have really strong vapors, and it works really well. So what I do, because we're going to be dealing with very fine spots, like the inner ridges here, I like to take a Ziploc baggie or any sandwich bag, and we're going to fill the corner with the E6000, and then we're just going to nick the very edge here so that it'll give us a fine tip spout. First thing that we are going to want to do is we are going to want to glue the base of the clear into this ridge around the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for a moment. I'm going to put the glue in the bag, and then I will go ahead and I will run a tiny bead around the inner edge here and show you before we set this in place. So as you can see, I filled the end, and then I cut it out so that it'll just give a little goo dribble. Alright, so I got a little bead ran in there, right along the edges. Wipe off any excess, like that glob I got over there, because that will be inside the canister and you will not have access to it once it is sealed. So next I'm going to slide the tube straight down over the top and line up the door. Now that I have that in, it's easiest to line up the door if once it's on, you push to line up the plastic, because they'll have your opening here that'll line up with the edges. So you can kind of fine tune it as needs be. Next stage that we're going to do is you're going to take the crown, you're going to squirt goo in that ridge all the way around. I put some into this hole, and I also run a tiny line of it over this. And that's because that is going to connect to here and run along the back edge of the stairs. Now, very important, this little piece needs to be put on before you put this together. I know it looks small, but it makes a huge difference on the finished product. You want it with spikes down, and you're just going to set it around and let it set to the bottom. Once the crown is in place and affixed, then you will slide this up and it will glue itself in around the upper edge to give some nice decorative filigree around the top. Alright, so as you can see, I have squirted some of the glue all the way around and a little bit across that upper edge. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide it into place, and then I will show you as I put the final ring up. So now that I've got the top firmly in place, now this ring just slides up and it'll tuck inside, and you just use your finger to push each of the sections up so that it's evenly in place. And there you have it, the finished product, fully assembled and ready for use.